Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a special video. These pieces that we're going to be making today are all for the Grungy Library journals, but I wanted to show you 7 ways to use envelopes in your junk journals. So this is just going to be raw construction, raw ideas. I'm not going to be embellishing, decorating, or anything in this video. We will bump into these pieces again later on down the road, and we will, at that point, we'll decorate them and do some finessing. So our first one is, and this might be a long video, so bear with me. Our first one is a tip-in, and sometimes people call them a flip, or some people call them a tip-in. I tend to call them flips, but the big word is tip in. So we're going to make a tip in using an envelope. So on all these projects, I've already cut things mostly down so that you guys we can just zip on through this. So I've already cut 3 pieces of paper because we want to cover the base of this envelope. So it's going to tip in from the side because it's too wide to go from the top or the bottom, because I think this measures 5 and 3/4, and that's too big for my journal. So we're going to go ahead and do it this way. So, yeah. And a tip in, it can wrap around the page, but it can also go like this. And I'm debating on which way I want that to go, because it could go on a page. Let me grab a piece of paper just so I can kind of show you what it would look like in real life. So let's just pretend this is a journal page. It's just a white piece of paper. And so it can go on like this. Oh no, that's not what I'm thinking. It can go in as a tip in like this. Okay, so like this, which I'm thinking that's what I want to do. I think that's what I want to do, but yep, that will still work. Okay, awesome. Let's do that. So we're going to go ahead and we got to decide which direction we want to go, though, before we start covering our papers. So if we do it, yeah, we want to go this way. So let me just put an arrow, because it's a work night, but I have a busy weekend, so I want to make sure that I can get some content created for y'all. So once we start gluing papers, we can let go of this issue. So I'm just going to think about this, because we're going to go like that. Okay, like that. Let's just keep this here just for the sake of clarity here. So let's go ahead and cover this flap first. So I'm going to go ahead and ink around all 3 of these pieces. I may have to trim them down. It was a really rough cut. I'm just preparing for the video, so I'll be right back. This kit that I'm working with, this is the B.Reborn Grungy backgrounds, and then this is the same creator, but it's called the Writing Room, which I thought was really cool. So now we want to just think about if this is going to tip in like this. I think we want her to be on the front. Okay, so we want her to be on the front. Oh, we also have to decide if we want this to be open. Now, I think we do want it to be open, which means we're going to have to trim something to open it. We could go and open this edge. I think that might be the easiest. So let's just grab the trimmer and do that really quick. Just snip this open, or this closed edge here. Just like that, easy as pie. So now it is open. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover this. So we're going to cover that with this piece, and I'm hoping that it's going to line up okay. We can always trim it off. Not too concerned. I like to use Fabri-Tac because it allows you time to move things, because it can get a little hairy. Okay. These are like back to the basics kind of ideas that you can just kind of throw together a little bit quicker. I didn't get that edge quite trimmed, so I'm just going to grab my fussy cut scissors and just round that. Again, it was a rough cut, just because I was sitting in here and I'm like, oh, I've got to get some content created. And so I'm just going to prepare it. Yeah, we want it like that. I want to prepare it and have it all ready for to do the video. And then I'm like, it's only 7 o'clock at night. So, well, it's 7:43 now, but it's okay. It's a Thursday night, so last day of work tomorrow, which is amazing. Okay, so as we've talked about before, this we want, because we've got this as a pocket, we want to preserve this area here, so we're not going to put glue in here. So how I like to do that is cover the whole thing with Fabri-Tac first. And then generally you'd put a glue here, but because this is on a fold, I'm not too concerned about it, so we're not even going to worry about it. Well, we probably should, because we don't want anything pushing through. So let's go ahead and do it and just stay with the normal process here. So just a bead of white glue there, and I just use the white glue there because I need a bit more control. So I'm going to go ahead and just my angle is bad here for my right-handedness. So I'm just going to put that down right there. And if we have to trim off this edge, we will. I think we do because we cut the envelope open. Okay, not a big deal. Yeah, it's off anyway, just by a smidge. Nothing too horrible. So let's just trim that off as well. Oh, those are too little. Too little. Today was a tough day. I was exhausted when I came home. It was 81 degrees here in Washington State, which I love. And it's been so nice the last couple days that I've been getting up and going walking before school at the lake near our school. And that's been amazing. So now we're going to cover, we don't have to cover this because it's not going to show. Okay, so we're going to cover this with our beautiful lady, which she's going to need to be trimmed as well, but we'll deal with that in a moment. So by the time I get to work, I start work, I've already got, you know, almost 3,000 steps in. So it's really, really nice, because then I don't feel like I have to go walk after work if I don't want to. And sometimes I have other things I need to do, but today I was so tired. I came home and I turned on a YouTube video and I fell asleep. I was so tired. And I did take a nap, which I am not a napper at all. I do not like to sleep, let alone a nap. Naps just throw me. I tend to have really bad nightmares when I nap, so I don't do that very often. So there we go. There is our first one. Isn't she beautiful? And so she's just going to glue on the page. Now, the other thing one could do is you could just, when you glue this on, you could glue it just enough to hold it and have this be a tuck spot. So that's another idea for you. So that is number one, tip in. Our number two is a envelope belly band. So this is, I've never done this before, so I'm hoping that it's going to be actually a good idea. Now my envelope is very tall. Let me just measure it for you here. It is 9.5 inches tall, way too tall for my journal. So I'm going to go ahead, I made a note to cut it down to 8.25, so let's do that. And we'll just cut off the place where I just wrote those words. So you do want to be thinking when you're working with belly bands that you're making it the height of your journal. So we're going to cut it off there. Okay. Now that means we've got an open edge, which we don't want. So we're going to go ahead and, oh, I didn't realize this had tape on it. And I didn't cut any paper for this either. Ugh. Okay. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Almost want to round that out. I don't know how to really. I'm going to turn this way and see if I can round that edge to the same, in the same way, since I cut all of my width off of the one side, which generally I like to do it on both sides so that we don't have this issue, but this is a good workaround. Okay, just like that. Okay, So that looks a lot better. I'll probably have to get a piece of paper. I think I have some right up there, so we can deal with that. So my idea was to have this be a belly band, but have it be also a pocket. So I'm going to probably elaborate on this project. It was like, oh, this is such a great idea. So I'm going to probably do it more, but I'm going to go ahead and glue this shut just so that it's not a problem, not giving me grief. Okay. All right. And then this is going to be this is going to cover, I think I have another piece of this, something similar. So I do want it to go this way. So this paper is going to go here. So that's going to be great. Now let me see. It might need to get trimmed off, but that's okay. Now I'm a little bit leery because I do not want to cut that edge open. So let me see where we're at with this. Yeah, I think I'm going to just take it off before so I don't make an error. So I'm just going to take off, just as Angela Kerr says, just a hair's breadth of paper there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this on. Again, we're preserving this pocket. So I'm going to ink this up really quickly. I was thinking about doing this with scraps, but it's a lot of work because I have to go get one of the bins out of the closet, and I was like, nah, let's just use some pretty digitals. Oh, wait a minute. What was this for? What was that for? Maybe that was a piece to go here. Or here and here. I think that might have been the case. Okay, so same thing. We're going to preserve this area here. So we're not going to put glue in here. And I'm going to churn this, you guys. I hope you, well, I better not because then I'll get it upside down. So I'm just we're going to go for it. Go for the gusto here. I'll just pull that up. And again, when you use the Fabri-Tac, you get this wiggle room that you don't get with your white glue. So that's really nice. Okay. And this is also from B.Reborn. I believe it is bookstore. So that's beautiful. And let's see. Uh-oh. Yeah, because this is, we don't have an opening in that. Oh, wait a minute. This was our opening. Ugh. Okay, that was our opening. That's supposed to be open. Not a problem. Let's just make sure there's no glue residue there. That's supposed to be a pocket, guys. And one could, in fact, I think we will notch that before I re-glue that piece that I messed up on. I'm just going to grab my circle punch here and just make a little notch here, and hopefully I can get it moderately even top to bottom. That's good. Okay, yeah. So let's just re-glue this, and I think I'm going to put a piece of parchment in there just to be safe. Make sure that we don't have any glue stickage. So let me grab that as well. This is a great way to keep working when you've made a mistake like this. You can kind of just slide that in there, and then you're golden. And then we can just fold this over and get it out of the way. Okay. So now we need to cover this, and I think that's what this was for. I'm hoping. So I don't like these ones that have the adhesive. I think it's kind of useless, but that's okay. Hopefully this is enough for both. It should be, yeah. Okay, so we're going to glue this on. Actually, I want to go this way, get this stamp on the other side of the flap, and we're going to go ahead and glue this down. So let me ink around this. Okay, just going to get that on there as well. Should be pretty close to correct. Okay, I'll turn that over. Now, because it's a belly band, we don't have to cover this part, okay, because it's not going to show. So let's just trim this. This is risky, so, you know, proceed at your own risk to cut while your glue is drying. So that's lovely. Isn't that lovely? Now we can ink this edge because we cut it. Okay, and now we're going to cover this edge right here with the rest of that. The goal was to try to get some of that stamp, so let's see what we got going on here. We might not be able to get it because it's right. Oh, we want this stamp, so we're good. I'm going to ink this edge and I'm going to glue this down and cut around it. I forgot to mention I did print all of these on 32-pound paper, so it's not too terribly thick. So we'll just ink that edge as well. Super fun ephemera using envelopes, because what I love about envelopes is you get that extra pocket. You get kind of a bonus pocket. So I'm going to trim this off so it's out of my way. I want to leave it in there just in case we've got any glue stickage. So that is our belly band. So then I'll probably put Velcro on here. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to trim this down a little bit more so we can just proceed. I'm going to put a Velcro dot on here, 2 of them, 1 on each end. Okay, like that. And we'll stick something in the envelope as well later. So let me see if I can reach those really quickly. Okay. So we've got the hard ones. So I'm going to put one here. And here. And then the soft one on top. I do like to put a little dot of white glue just to help that really stick. Okay, like that. Okay, we should be able to close that with that in it and give that a chance to dry. Yeah, there we go. So we're just going to press that down. Okay, boom. Isn't that cool? I'm going to elaborate on this for sure on the channel, but that will be glued down on the top and the bottom for a belly band. So we gotta hustle here, guys. Okay, the third one is an open writing space. This one's so easy. I already cut my envelope, or punched my envelope. I did use the envelope punch board because I don't like to try to finagle and get envelopes to open and all of that. So I just use my envelope punch board and one of the digitals. So we're going to go ahead and just get this burnished out here. I think this one didn't score as well as some of my others, but we're going to go with it. So this one, the paper I started with was 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then it's the finished size is 4 by 6. And so then you score on the 3 3/8 inch mark on your score tool. I mean, on your envelope punch board. So just like that. Okay. And then you just put this in a pocket. That's how easy it is. Okay. Just that easy. Now I don't like that. I mentioned that a lot. I do not like that being so pokey uppy. So I'm going to try to cut that. So let's just make a pencil mark and bring that down here. If that doesn't bother you, don't need to worry about it. I did buy some envelope templates. They're just a template that you're supposed to be able to print right on your digital, but they have these stupid extra lines that look terrible. So I'll just be printing them on a heavy cardstock and just tracing around them to use them. But they've got scalloped edges and they're just so fun. There's a sloppy envelope project coming up. I just didn't have the bandwidth for that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and round that little pointy bit. And I'll ink around this one later. No need to do it right now. If you wanted it to not pop open, you could put a Velcro there as well. And then you just slide this into a pocket. So again, this measures 4 inch. Oh, I guess it's more than 4. That's 4.5. It said it was 4 by 6 finished. Isn't that weird? See, it's bigger than 4 by 6 too. Not accurate. That's okay. So that is our open writing space. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a paper clip. So I didn't want to go to too much fuss and muss about this because, you know, in terms of like sandwiching the paper clip in between different pieces. So we're just going to do a masked paper clip, okay? Which I just showed you in the beginner journal making series, but we're going to do it here. So we're just going to use a small paper clip. This is the envelope I made again with the envelope punch board, and we're actually going to glue this shut because we want to make it a little bit of a tuck, but I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to just kind of cut that off. I do not like that poking up. So we're going to fix that, and then I'm going to ink around this really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's glue her shut. I'm going to go like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here on this edge and up here, this edge and around that bend. Glue that shut. Okay, so this will be able to store a little bit of something something too. Okay, so that is that. And we're going to do our masked paper clip. I'm just using a small paper clip. I think I actually want to put a Velcro on there. I feel like it's too floppy. So we're just going to put a Velcro dot here. And close that baby up. Okay. Now let's work on our masked paper clip. So again, if you didn't see that video, you basically take your paper and you're going to cut this to be the height, just slightly smaller than the height of your paper clip. So I'm just going to cut that all the way across there. Okay. And then what I do is I want to go around the big part of the envelope first, or the paper clip first. So you just put this up here so that you have just enough hanging over here to fold it over. Okay, to cover the paper clip. So I'm just going to move that paper clip for a sec. Okay, like that. Slide that back in there. Okay, and then you're going to fold it again. Okay, fold it again like you're rolling it, kind of like a paper bead kind of thing. Okay, and we're going to go, usually I stop at that edge, but I'm going to fold it over one more time. Because I wanted to show you what that would look like. I didn't get a chance to do that in that video, so I'm going to just quickly ink this. Let's just bend that over as well. Complete the steps here, Cara-Renee. Okay. Just ink all those edges so they look nice and grungy. Okay. So now we can take this off. And we're going to fold this, and we're going to, that's a lot of layers, Cara-Renee. It's okay. All right, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue right here. I hope the camera's not too far away. I don't want to mess with it. I'm just going to close that up, okay? And just give that a second to grab. I like to use the white glue for that. And then when we put this back on, we want to flip that that little part out to the front. So hopefully this is making sense. So like that. Okay, just going to slide it on. Shelly, I haven't forgotten your question. Shelly left a question in the comments of the video. No, I have never experienced them falling off. I make them pretty tight. Okay, so that is that. So then you take your other piece. Let's take a lighter piece, and you're going to cut it slightly smaller because you've got the smaller end of the paper clip here. So we're going to just go to the top of that paper and to the paper clip here, and I'm just going to clip that right there if I can get a hold of it, and drop that. Drop it. There we go. And then you do the same thing. You just, I want this light stuff on that to show. So I'm going to just slide that under there like that. Okay. I'll show you how this works. I had a lovely comment. I love constructive feedback about on that last video where I didn't pause when I was talking about when I was showing you how it would work, how the paperclip would work on a page. So I will slow down and do that for you today. I'm just going to cut this one on that edge and just call it good. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to take it back off to glue it and to ink it. I like that inky grungy look, so, but you know me, I'm a grungy girl. Even though I do like to create with light, bright things as well. Okay, that's that. And let's just glue that. So again, I'm just putting a little bit of glue on that flap. Okay, like that. And close that up and slide it on the small part of the paper clip, just like that. It's tight, so it does take a little bit of work. Okay. Just like that. Okay, there's your masked paper clip. So obviously you can tell it's a paper clip, but it looks prettier, right? And so then when you put this on your page, you'll put it with this to the inside of your page. So again, if this is your journal page, you could go like this and have this open here because we're going to put something in that pocket at a later date. And then you can put your paper clip right here like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I hope that was better, guys, and I didn't rush through that too quickly. I love the constructive feedback, guys. I get so irritated with people that do a thumbs down, but they don't leave me a comment. They don't give me any feedback. It's very discouraging for YouTube creators. I mean, at least for me. Maybe I'm just a sensitive soul. I don't know. But so the next one is an open pocket that's side loading. And the reason why it's side loading is because my envelopes are too big. So this is idea number 5. And so basically what it's going to be like is it's going to be on your page. It will be on here like this. Okay, like that. And then this is going to flap open, and this will, actually it's going to have to go the other way. It's going to have to go this way. So this is the open side of our page because you don't want this bumping into your spine, right? So this is going to flip open and we will close and open, and you can stuff this baby full, okay? Now in this case, you wouldn't be able to really have anything sticking out of it. It would all be stuff that would fit deep inside of that pocket. But it's another great way to use these. So I'm gonna glue these papers on. So I haven't cut these down to the flat size, but I'll do that. And I'm just gonna speed this part up. I'm gonna try to get through all of these pieces all in one foul swoop. So I need to hustle along. So I'm gonna just speed this part up. So I'm here at this point where I'm trying to get this so that those ropes or whatever that's tying this, it's a journal cover digital from the *** library kit. And oh yeah, that's great. Awesome. Cara-Renee, that was pretty good. Pretty good. Let's move it down just a little bit more if we can. We're running out of time. That should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and cut around this and cover the other flap, and I'll be back. I didn't really think these papers through entirely, so I'm trying to kind of piece it together to make it look kind of cool. But things aren't going to line up, but that's okay. So I didn't ink that edge. I'll have to do that in a minute. So let me just cut around this, and then we'll be moving on to number 6, which is the long one. So we're going to do I'm using a coffee dyed mailer, and we're going to collage on it. And it's going to also be it's just going to be a collage, kind of a flip. So I'll show you that in a minute here. Getting ahead of myself. I wanted to do them in order, so I was going to do the collage one last, but it is number 6. So we're going to do it in order, okay? Just ink that up. I think I already inked that edge. Okay, and this one. And then, uh-oh, we're binding here. What did I do? What did I do? Something's binding. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, we've got some paper sticking up here. I don't know if I can clip that though without making a problem. So we're going to have to just go with this. I'm going to just try to give that a good burnish and hope for the best. We've got some hanging over here. So let me just trim that off, clean it up a little bit. Not a big deal. Nothing is too big of a deal. Don't let it dip into your bucket. When you make a mistake, just keep going. Don't worry about it. There we go. And I'm going to be mentioning in every video that these two journals, the regular journal and the Lapbook journal, will be for sale when we're done. But I'm just not liking that at all. But I just cannot risk cutting that. So I may have to fiddle with it later and see if I could. I should have cut those, pre-cut them, so that I didn't get that binding there. But it's going to be fine. So this is going to fold over like that. And then we've still got some white showing, so we'll just ink it. It fixes things that are white. There we go. So that goes there. And so then when this is open, this is like a secret spot. Oh, we've got some glue stickage there. So we've got that pocket. So again, we can put a little bit of Velcro here. In fact, let's just do it. I love Velcro dots. They're super versatile and easy to use. So I couldn't find my stash. It's so silly. I don't know what I did with them, so I had to get some more. These are a little bit puffier than my other ones, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's all right. There we go. So that is an open pocket that is side loading. Okay, so it's side loading, meaning it's coming in this way. Okay, so I am actually going to reverse these. So we're going to do this envelope on a belly band. So this is going to be another super easy one. And what I love about this kind of project is you've got the envelope that's going to be stuffed, and then you also have space under the belly band to fill up as well. So these envelopes, I think I didn't mention the size of these envelopes. Let me tell you right now. This is 7 and a quarter by, that was the wrong, by 5 and a quarter. 5 and a quarter by 7 and a quarter. Okay, so I've got all of my pieces cut here down, so we're going to start with that. I think I'm going to put the papers on, and then I'm going to decide, I think, well, no, we probably should just cut that now, which means we're just going to have to trim our paper. I'm just going to cut it with my scissors here. A little risky, but that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these papers on. So this one's going to go here. I'm going to preserve this pocket. So that's going to go there. And then this one's going to go on the back. And then this one is the belly band, and then these ones are for the flaps. So I'm going to just speed that up and turn the music on for you, and I'll be back in a moment. Now I'm just going to pop back here. You could use any kind of envelopes. You do not have to buy envelopes. You don't have to do what I do. This is what I like. And so it's what I do. And I don't have a lot of just random envelopes. So, but you can use what you have. It doesn't matter. Just putting that white glue there as well. And we're going to go ahead and lay that down, trying to get it on that edge there. And then just scooch it out just a smidge. Yeah, we got to cut some off that end, but that's not a surprise because we did open that envelope up. We do have a little bit of extra over here as well, but I'm going to be very, very careful because you don't want to cut your envelope open. I'm not concerned about this edge because it's already open. Okay. It's good to trim these as you go rather than covering both sides and then trying to trim, because then you lose visibility of your edge and you could potentially cut your envelope open, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so that worked out beautifully. Okay, yeah. And so that's glued there. So this is the open part. So let's cover the back. You can always tell when you're getting the paper. I wasn't getting the paper, thankfully, so just going to ink that up a little bit. And then we'll cover our flaps. So I haven't really shown you because I didn't create a prototype for these projects. So okay, so this is here, okay. So let me show you just in case you're curious, and let's just ink this up. You could round the edges on this. I'm not going to right now, but you could make it a little bit more decorative, because belly bands can be kind of boring unless you kind of decorate them up. So basically this is our belly band. Oh, that's going to be tight. Okay, so it's going to go like that. Okay, and then your envelope is just going to hang on here. Okay, it's just going to kind of hang under that belly band. So that's the idea of it. So let's see what we've got going on here. I think this was supposed to go here. So I'm going to do that really quick as well. And the last one. A lot of inking and gluing. I don't want to bore you and make the video too long. In real time, we're already 47 minutes. Obviously, I will be able to speed up a lot of this because I didn't talk quite as much as I tend to. And we're going to glue that one on here. And then we'll move on to our collage envelope flip. Let's just put that down there as well. It's not a perfect lining up, but we do not look for perfection here in the B.Reborn Art and Healing Studio. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to try to bend any of that too quickly because you don't want to get binding there, because I already showed you how it's going to work. Well, that's weird. Got some hangover here. Let's just trim that up. It's okay. I mean, because actually, again, you don't really have to worry too much unless your perfection is important to you. You can just ink those extra white edges that you didn't expect, okay? So again, you've got a stuffed place here. where you can have things sticking out with whale tail tabs and such, as you know I like to do. And then this is your belly band, so it's going to sit on here. It's going to be a tight fit, but that's okay. And that's just because my envelope is pretty large, but we've got plenty of room to put a bead of glue on top and bottom. So that is our envelope belly band, envelope on a belly band. So now the collage one. So what I did is I had all these scraps from all the cutoffs from that right here. Okay. So that's what we're going to use to cover the envelope. But before we do that, we need to cut it down because again, this is too tall. I believe this is also probably the same size. Yeah, 9.5. So I'm going to grab my trimmer and we're going to cut off the top here because we want that window. We're going to preserve that window and we'll put something in it later on, not today. I'm just gonna do that, okay? And then we're gonna, I think I'm gonna use my tear ruler. Maybe I'll just use my metal ruler to tear paper. So I've got a bunch of scraps here. So I'm just going to start collaging here and I'll let you guys just kind of watch and see what I'm doing. And that will be, oh, that one's just the right size. I don't want it to be completely exactly the same size. We want this to be interesting. So let me do some tearing and then we'll start gluing. We're just going to kind of ink as we go here. So, and again, as always, if the video gets too long, you can speed me up using the gears and I don't sound completely deranged. I think I'm going to come up with this a little bit more than I expected to. And I'm going to go ahead and just use my Fabri-Tac. And I am coming just a little bit over the window because we've got those rounded edges that can kind of look weird if they're, and you're probably wondering why am I covering over this beautiful, oh, that's upside down, over this beautiful coffee dyed envelope. Well, I don't know. I've never really practiced, like, how do you cover it in part, you know, and leave some of that coffee dyeing there. So that should be fine. We can always trim off. In fact, let's just do this kind of as we go. And being very careful here because I completely forgot to show you my flap. Okay. So this is our flap. So this will be glued down. It will be a flip like this. So is that upside down? It's not upside down now. Okay. I'm going to keep on trucking here. So again, as you're trimming, if you're feeling the need to trim, just be careful of your edge, okay? That you don't clip your flap. So I'm just going to cut a bit of this here like that. Just going to keep going here. This is a great way to use scraps. I haven't done this forever, but it's a great way to use scraps. Like I just created those scraps making this project and now I can use them. So we're going to just put that there. Oh, that's lovely. I love it. Love it. It's hanging way over the edge. That was not intended. So let's trim that off. I didn't get any glue down here, but these are also really great to sew around if you have the inkling to do that. We don't have to worry so much about this edge because it's not the flap, but we do have to not cut it open. So same thing. I'll probably cover the back of this off camera. I'll just probably do it with a solid piece of paper. But look at that. So easy, so fast, and we just need a piece for right here. So let's see what we've got that we could put there. I'm going to try to change up the tones a little bit if I can. Maybe we'll just bring this piece in again. Make it easy. And we're just about done. So that didn't take as long as I thought it would, thankfully. You never know. I'm trying to kind of design a new process. It's kind of iffy, and I love that. I love that piecemeal business going on. So we're just going to let that really overlap and look really layered. So I love layers. Okay. Just get some glue on the back of this, and then we will be done. And I will just bring the projects back over to you to see here in a moment, just as a review. So I've got to bring this down. Oh, that was so close. So close. Just got to scoot that up a little bit. There we go. Move it over. Just going to get these edges really quick just so you can get the full effect of what this looks like. It's amazing. I should do this more, you guys. Oh, I should do this more. Maybe we'll do a crash your trash and just pull out my scraps. But look at that. Isn't that so cool? So again, this is going to be a flip. So what I'll do is I'll cover this. I'll probably have to figure out how I can round that and make that look a little bit more normal. I mean, it doesn't really matter. And then I'll cover this other side. Okay. And so again, it is, it will be a top loading pocket that will have something in the window. So let's bring over our beautiful stuff. So this was our collaged hinged window, our envelope on a belly band, our paper clip, masked paper clip, our open writing space, our belly band envelope, which I've never made before, and then our tip in. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here, for just for being here. The channel is doing really well, and I'm loving that people are liking the content, and I feel very energized to continue to bring content that is new and fresh and creative and at varying levels. So from beginner to more advanced techniques. I am feeling the hunger for some mixed media, so that will be coming down the pike. I did not do a Sunday's Art of Truth in March, and I did not do one in April either. So I'm feeling bummed about that, but I've got a project brewing in my head. I have to get a dream. I have to get an inspirational dream about what I want to create around, and which is usually a truth, a quote, a concept, something that I'm struggling with working through is how my Sunday's Art of Truth are born. And in case you're new to the channel, Sunday's Art of Truth is a video where I create a mixed media project, and I talk about the creative process and the lessons in that, not only creatively, logistically and creatively with what I'm doing, but also how I'm processing what I'm doing, because it's usually deeply meaningful project. And then I write about that on my blog. It's called Sunday's Art of Truth. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.